Hello and welcome to Opinions. We're in season 2, off season, season 3. I feel like this is season 3.
I feel like season 3 should be the start of. Although that's the thing, we're pretty much into the next season now
But
already.
that's it. Like once the before we hold up. My name's Harry and his name's Ben. Welcome
Yeah,
to
we're
Opinions.
getting ahead of ourselves. It's too exciting.
We've got to do an intro. We've got to do an intro. I feel like season 2 ends the moment, like the moment that like the last game finishes and you woo, we got a champion, woo. That's it.
Okay.
Season
Okay,
2.
I like
The new season of NBA has started.
that is a fair point.
But
All
I
right,
want to
well,
keep the
we're
episodes
episode
going.
1.
So we're up to
Yeah.
it's season 3, but episode 26, 27. What was our last episode?
We really need to get on top of this. I feel like it's a new season. You start with episode 1 again, like a TV show, right?
But then all the other podcasts I listen to do like year
That's a great
2.
point, actually.
Like
All right,
no,
let's do that. Season 3, episode 27. I like that.
are we up to 27?
Yep, 27. And I
Yes,
think that's
yeah.
actually quite a good number because of a certain Rudy Gobert. Anyway, we'll get to that later.
So, oh wait, what? How did I miss the Rudy trade? I'm looking at my.
Oh man,
How did that not show
there's
up?
so much to cover.
Okay,
I think
okay.
we'll get to that in due
We'll
time.
pull up the Rudy. Yeah, okay. I really want to talk about that. So okay, yeah. So we've decided that from now on we're going to do each season is per the basketball season, but we're just going to do a massive episodic number. I've decided. I did not clear this with you. I've just cleared it with you now. Thanks.
Oh,
you're welcome.
I feel like we almost need to do our intro all over again. We've got so much to cover. All right.
Hey, welcome to Opinions. The off season has happened, and it's absolutely wild. And we took a week off last week because I made the executive decision to have a week off.
But we are back, and we're up
So
to
much
episode
happened.
27 now.
I've spent-
27 we've decided.
I've spent all the last week going, damn, we shouldn't have taken a week off. Like, we need a week off because I really want to like put the hustle up this year for this season. But hot damn, so much. I didn't expect so much to happen around the draft or like straight after the draft. Like, when did that Rockets and Dallas trade go through? Didn't it go like before the draft? I feel like that went.
I think it was actually, but it's pretty much non-stop. Basketball these days, NBA is like a whole year sport, effectively. So.
Yeah, but it really caught me off guard. So let's talk about. I do want to start out with the trade. So let's start off with this.
Right.
So
should we at least say what the episode is called? I feel like we haven't really done a proper intro.
we've done a mini intro. Look, I've been listening to a podcast called it's the F Face podcast by Rooster Teeth, and their intros are shocking. Just I'm pulling a lot of inspiration from them. But we've got repeat, revamp, remix. Obviously, if you've been living under a rock, Golden State won the championship. Congrats. Boston, I'm disappointed.
Yep, Steph Curry got his first Finals MVP, which I think was well deserved.
Boston just forgot how to play.
Yeah.
Can I okay, I need a 30-second like angry Harry here.
See, this is why I wanted to start with the finals.
Sorry, I'm getting all excited. There's so much that's happened. Look, Boston, here's the thing. Warriors didn't win. They didn't do anything amazing. They just played normal basketball. Boston decided to not remember how to play basketball and did like a bazillion turnovers and just shoved their own fist. It wasn't even like the Warriors didn't fist.
Where's this going?
Fist Boston. Okay, the Boston Celtics shoved their own fists down their own throat and choked.
Okay. Yep.
Warriors
Very
didn't.
curious where that analogy was going.
Warriors didn't do anything that like really shut them down. It was pretty even, except for the fact that Boston were just like, "Hey, do you want the ball? Here, turnover. It was. I was very upset. It was not the sort of finals finishing game that I wanted.
Yeah, I think it was particularly disappointing because the Celtics were actually up beginning of the game and then kind of just threw it away from there. But I mean, props to the Warriors. I think obviously there's Curry, there's Clay, but I just want to shout out their management and their coaching because I think that really is just huge. They're so experienced, and I think Celtics haven't been in the finals since 2010. I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have 2 more points to say about Boston. The only person that played well in that Game 6, the only person from Boston that actually showed up was Al Horford.
Yeah, I think Jaylen Brown did kind of hustle a little
trash.
bit, but
They're all trash except for Al Horford.
I mean, yeah, Tatum didn't really show up. I would argue that Brown did show at least hustle. He played till the end, and obviously Horford played hard.
Horford scored one without turning over the ball. And then two, what in the hell? Like, you've got Marcus Smart just disappeared in that game. Why the hell was Al Horford guarding Stephen Curry for most of the game? You have the defensive player of the year. No, bro. Can you take Stephen Curry for me? What? I watched the game. I watched it.
Yeah.
Al Horford did a pretty good job against Stephen Curry for the fact that he was a big, it's Al Horford. But why was the defensive player of the year not stopping Stephen Curry?
I think the Warriors were just exploiting switches. Like, they were really trying to not have that.
No. They weren't even switching Curry onto Al Horford. Al Horford was picking up Stephen Curry from the get-go.
Well, that's just bad.
That was not. If it was a switch, I'd been like, yeah, cool, but it wasn't.
Okay, I can't excuse that then. So
I remember distinctly. They might have kept switching him on, but yeah, no, there was definitely points where Al Horford ended up on Curry from the get-go. So screw you, Boston. I don't like you.
That's pretty much just asking for disaster. So
yeah. Disappointed. I feel like you guys blew a really good opportunity. Though Warriors, we'll talk about later. The Warriors won't be coming back as strong as they were. But we'll talk about that. I need to. Yeah, actually, I should put that in the notes. Rudy and Golden State Warriors luxury tax.
Get some behind the scenes.
Now, can I talk about Dallas and Rockets?
Yes.
Is that okay with you? Do I have your permission?
I think it just makes sense to do it in the order that things happen, just so we're not dropping all over the place. So I'd actually argue next we should probably talk about the draft. But
this happened before the draft, technically.
That's fair. I feel like the majority of free agencies after the draft. You just
said you want to go in order, and then this has happened first.
Okay, it's the one thing that happened before. The rest of it has happened after the draft. But it's right. You go for it.
Okay, so basically, the Dallas and Rockets trade. Dallas received Christian Wood, and the Rockets received Boban, Trey Burke, Marquise, Sterling Brown, and the 26th pick, which turned into Wendell Moore, which then, I don't understand this bit, but then they traded him to Minnesota for Ty Washington and 2 future second-round picks. So I'm not sure what the strat was for that. Maybe because he's a small forward, and I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, that was the trade. What do you think, Ben?
I mean, I guess biggest thing for me is Dallas. I think once they lost Porzingis, who was meant to be the number 2 guy, it was really looking like, okay, Luka needs help. Who's going to be the guy to help him? Then they actually went deep into the playoffs, which kind of surprised me and probably a lot of other people.
Oh, yeah.
But it still was looking like, okay, who's going to be that second guy? And I think, yeah, Wood's probably not a bad fit. Can stretch the floor. I guess another big that hopefully provides a little bit of defense as well, because a lot of their bigs are just shooters.
No. Christian doesn't do much on defense.
Well, it'll be better than Bertans, and it'll be better than...
Yes, no.
Actually, no. I guess Clipper has played a bit of D, but yeah. Point is, anything's better than their current bigs defense-wise.
Christian Wood is a great offensive stretch 5.
Yeah.
He's not the best on defense.
Yeah, I guess they've got a few other players. I mean, they've got
He's better than Powell.
Yeah, better than Powell. I'm forgetting his name right now, but I can see him. Number 10, Dorian Finney-Smith. He's probably their kind of defensive anchor. So yeah. I think him lining up side along with Wood. Yeah, I think it's a good move.
Yeah, look, I think this is a fantastic move. Dallas have pretty much offloaded all the people that didn't play for them in the conference finals.
Yeah.
And Christian Wood was on a pretty good contract money-wise. It's a low-risk move for them. They needed someone better at the 5. Christian Wood can shoot, can pick and roll. Him with Luka, I think, will be really, 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 really fun to watch. I think Luka will just feast in the pick and roll with a proper stretch 5. Christian Wood has a lot of potential, but the problem with Christian Wood is that this is like his 4th team in 5 years or something. There is quote unquote rumors about attitude problems with him. But he's got a year left on his contract. It's a good contract. It's great for the Rockets because Christian Wood was eating into time for their rookies, so getting rid of him was great. And I don't really understand the whole drafting stuff, so I don't know if moving that 26th pick for the point guard called Ty and 2 future second round, and regardless of that bit, it's great because I think Rockets will get rid of most of those guys because they've got rookies that they want to give time to. So everyone's happy. I think it's a good move for Dallas. It makes them better than their previous team, and it was an area that they definitely needed someone better. And Wood can do quite well. He showed that when the 6 games he played with Harden.
They didn't give up too much either, really. No. I think that like you said, they gave up players who weren't really getting that many minutes. So I think it's kind of a win-win. Yeah.
Great stuff. Which then leads us into the draft, which I'm going to be really honest, I watched the first 3 picks and then turned it off because that's all I knew.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously there are a few bigger names that were the real drawing points. It did kind of drop off a little bit. It's not a particularly deep draft, but I think there are a few interesting picks that I'm a fan of.
The Orlando Magic threw everything up in the air by taking Banchero as number 1 instead.
Yeah, which I guess is a big surprise because they pretty much, I mean, I think everyone was expecting Jabari Smith was a lock for the Magic and then Banchero was a lock for the Rockets, and then they're going to do a switcheroo.
Both players didn't even work out with the other team because Banchero was like, I'm in the Rockets, like it's a fact. So he only worked out with the Rockets. The same with Smith.
Bit of a weird one, but I mean, look, still, obviously, I feel like the top 3, it's kind of like almost a lock for talent-wise.
The Rocket. So I'm a Rockets fan. We didn't want Chet though. Chet was no. Well, I'm really glad. Look, Chet looks great, but no.
That's
too
fair.
much.
I mean,
too risky.
I think he's a good fit on OKC anyway.
Yeah.
I think we'll get to it later because it's only Summer League, but Summer League has started, so we're getting a little bit of a taste of some of the players, but. We'll get to that later, but yeah, I think
I saw a Reddit post that Chet was looking pretty good, but I think everyone for the Rockets, fantastic.
Yeah,
Smith is a great defensive player, and that's what we need. We need a little bit of defense. So fantastic. I loved how everyone was freaking out. It really upset the way things were that we thought were supposed to go. But was there any other highlights from the draft that I missed, other than? And we'll talk about the Knicks and the Thunder trade shortly, or should we talk about that now?
God, we're all over the place today. I was just going to say Jabari Smith, obviously a great shooter as well, with the size, so I think fits in well with the Rockets. I guess just quickly, I'm honestly happy with the Kings pick. I think it's the first thing the Kings have done right in quite a long time. With the 4th pick, Keegan Murray. Again, already just very early days. Summer League doesn't really mean much, but he is looking quite strong. I think fits in well with the lineup too. He's a 6'8". Forward, so I think hopefully they don't trade him away for someone old. We'll see what they do, but I think that was a good pick. Other than that, other highlight is probably just the Thunder, just so many picks and drafting Jalen Williams. So that was quite exciting.
I saw a meme where they were doing the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, exactly. So that was pretty funny. Thankfully, they do have nicknames. So the 12th pick, the I guess better Jalen Williams, if you will, is J-Dub. And then you've got the other Jalen Williams spelled a little bit differently. 34th pick is J-Will. So they got that. But already, I think a lot of picks, it's I guess, a little bit of a insurance policy, I suppose. The more picks, the better. But I think early days is looking pretty good.
Yeah, look, I'm going to be really honest. Outside of like the top 3, I don't really know much else about the about the draft. I don't really follow it. I don't really follow the people. There's a lot of people that like really watch like college games and stuff, but that's not me. I don't have time for that.
Fair enough. Other shout out quickly is Nikola Jovic, drafted by the Heat. Hopefully he can be just as good as his other, I guess, one letter away. Nikola Jovic.
Very funny. It's so good. So let's just go down the list. What do you think of the Jazz's new uniforms, Ben?
Okay, we're really
mainly for you.
I guess I'll try and keep it short. I'm not a fan. So just
The first
for
one's
people
great. Can I just say I'm fine with the first uniform, the
as
Jazz
in
with
the
the
purple one. So
with the
for anyone who
peak.
hasn't seen them, that's so just for your context as well. That's literally their like 1990s, late
Yes,
90s jersey,
yes.
which they have had as their alternate jersey for a couple of years. I think definitely last year they've brought it back, tweaked it a little bit, but that's good. That's here to stay. And they're actually for the next few years they're always going to be having a purple alternate jersey. Some of it's going to be looking like their 80s style, their
Mm.
90s. They're doing a few variations, which is cool. That bit I love. That's great.
Yeah,
It's
that's
got good
great.
history. It actually holds up quite well in the current era too. But now we get on to their I guess their standard uniforms, so their
Oh.
home, away, and third jersey. I'd look, okay. Coming from a graphic design background as well, I always have strong opinions on the jerseys. There's like a minimal look, and then there's just a lazy look, and this is the laziest jersey I've seen
This
in a very long time.
this looks like a bib that you hand out at the rec center.
That's a perfect summary of it. I honestly thought these were like the summer league jerseys for a moment. It looks like they're training jerseys. So for anyone who hasn't seen them, it's just plain white with the Jazz note and the number, plain yellow with black numbers, and then plain black with yellow. It's like a really minimal take on their, because they have done like the blackout ones before where they've done like black and then the highlights, but it's like really stripped back. But it was
Look,
just such a, if they were going to go on a entire change, right? If they're going to move away from the green, blue, and yellow, they should have at least gone to that classic, very very popular jersey they've had for a few years now, which is like that sunset kind of color, right? Where they had like the red,
yeah.
orange, and yellow. That would have been fire if they were going to change that direction. That's what they should have done, or they
Which
should have kept to the traditional colors and just tweaked it a bit. But this is,
I
I don't even
miss
know
I
how they
miss
went.
the old jerseys, and I can't believe I'm
Yeah.
saying that. It looks like that they got like they listened too much to the focus group, and the focus group was, I don't know, your grandma. Oh yes, dear, I like that yellow.
I think that
It's
the
nice
problem
and
is that
easy for me to read.
they got the feedback that the black jerseys were cool, and they got the feedback that the yellow was cool. But they kind of only focused on those bits and just took the black and yellow. The only positive I can say is at least like there was a kind of theme behind it. I guess they were trying to go with like the spotlight theme and stuff. But yeah, I just
I
think
don't
it's
know. Look,
it's
the
too much.
Sorry,
I think
go.
you either go with like I don't know. I feel like you either go with an entirely new look and you like lean into that kind of theme, or you do a throwback. And this is kind of like no reference as a throwback at all, but also they haven't like created a new style either. It's just way too minimal. So
Look,
yeah,
I'm
disappointing.
I'm fine with like look the white jersey is just like an okay that's fine, like I don't mind the note. It's a simpler version of the old jerseys, but
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. But it's a little too simple. But I can kind of be okay with that. The black and the gold, the yellow are terrible. They
yeah,
look like bibs.
yeah. And it's just crazy that they've made these their main colors when, like, in the past, yes, they have changed the colors a fair few times, but there's always been a consistent, like at least one kind of consistent theme, whether it's the blue or the purple, and they've done neither. The last thing I will say is that, like, I guess one positive amongst all the negative is that it is kind of a signal in that they're rebuilding a little. I mean, they've still got
Or
Mitchell, but
retooling.
retooling, yeah. But I mean, they've lost a lot of their key players. I guess they've lost Royce O'Neal, they've lost Joe Ingles. Obviously, Gobert is huge, which we'll probably get to in a sec. But yeah, I guess it is kind of a new era almost for the Jazz, a departure from their kind of top of the Western Conference days. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's yeah. Well, while we're talking about the Utah Jazz, let's break down what's been happening with the Utah Jazz. So I believe Joe Ingles got traded to Milwaukee,
Yes,
or
he
signed
actually
with.
got traded. Yeah, last season he was traded to the Blazers, and then he just signed a 1-year deal with the Bucks.
Yeah, which like sad, I think, but also good. Like I'm glad that he can come up. Like maybe he comes off the bench, maybe he's a bench warmer. I think it's a solid. I think as a bench player, he'll be solid.
Yeah, I mean, he's still obviously he's currently injured, so he's actually not due to come back until I think after All-Star break this coming season. But yeah, he's still a decent perimeter threat. I think he can still be of value as a bench scorer for a competing team like the Bucks.
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
Let's talk about the croissant, the baguette in the room per se.
Oh my god, I haven't had that before. Oh man.
Is-
Yeah, Gobert.
Go
Big one.
bear. Oh, my mic. Oh, it's going to make noise. Stop. I'm trying to find... There we go. I'm trying to find a website that like clearly tells me what goes where. So the Jazz have finally pulled the plug and have traded Rudy Gobert, which, look, I'm sad that the Jazz have done it. Let me preface this by saying that I think Rudy has been really loyal to the Jazz, and if they hadn't traded him away, I think Rudy would have been a Jazz lifer, which I think is great. Like, I don't think he wanted to leave, per se. But I also really, really, really like this trade for a multiple of reasons. Before I get your opinion, Ben, on why this is such a good... Well, there's pros and cons, obviously. But firstly, Timberwolves get Rudy Gobert, which I was sad. I thought, when I initially read it, I thought it was the Grizzlies, and I was really excited to have Jar and Gobert together, and then I realized that it was the Timberwolves because I always get them confused, but still excited. And then the Jazz get Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverley, Leonardo Bolmaro, Walker Kessler, and Jared Vanderbilt, and a bunch of picks. Some of these not protected, it looks like, which respect. Before I get your opinion, Ben, can you tell me who the last three people are? I recognize Malik Beasley. It's so funny. The Jazz are a really nice team, but Patrick Beverley is just cancer, so have fun dealing with that. Can you tell me who Leonardo is, Walker Kessler, and Jared Vanderbilt?
Leandro Bolmaro, no idea, but it's going to be more of a bench role. Jared Vanderbilt was, I think, getting decent minutes power forward wise, so that'll be a bit better because the Jazz are actually lacking in bigs a little at the moment. And Walker Kessler's just a rookie, but he's a center. Obviously, that's a position that's definitely needing some improvement without Gobert.
And then,
I think, and honestly, like Beasley's not a bad player at the shooting guard, so. I mean, look, it's
replace Conley with him, or Beverley. Beverley can be your more defensive guard, and that leaves Thingymabob. What's his name? Donovan to be more of a pew pew. So,
it's certainly not an upgrade, but
no,
certainly not. No,
but I feel like this is the part where like the Jazz are just desperately trying to keep Donovan Mitchell happy now. Trying to do hey, look, we're doing stuff.
Yeah, because that's the thing now. They've committed to Mitchell over Gobert, which is no surprise really. But it'll be now a case of building a team around him. Because if not, I can see him going, because it's been rumored for so many, probably almost months and months and years almost, to teams like the Knicks and things like that. So if they want to keep him around, they'll definitely have to buff up the team, because at the moment it's looking like not a playoff team. I'm going to be honest.
No.
Because they've also lost guys like Royce O'Neal. Daniel House went to Philly. O'Neal actually went to the Nets, which is interesting. We might segue into that. But not looking like a good team.
But can I say, for the Minnesota Timberwolves, I love this, right? Yep. Here's a potential starting five. You've got D'Angelo Russell at point guard. You have Anthony Edwards at shooting guard. You have Taurean Prince at small forward. You have Karl Anthony Towns at power forward. Then you have Rudy Gobert at center.
Honestly, I mean, they already kind of had... D'Angelo Russell's dropped off a little bit, but they kind of had a big three. They've now got a big four, effectively, with Gobert. And they're actually, even some of their bench moves are looking pretty solid too. They got Bryn Forbes off Denver and Kyle Anderson from Memphis, which I was kind of sad to see him go. But they could slot him in at small forward. But just it's looking quite scary, especially like you said, starting five, and just size wise. Because I mean, Towns obviously was playing the center before. Slot him over to the power forward and play just almost pure offense. Doesn't have to worry too much defensively.
Exactly. Carl can be a stretch four, and Rudy can handle the pick and rolls and the dunking. And but then again, he doesn't really have to be a scoring threat as much, because Karl Anthony Towns can handle a lot of the post work anyway.
Yeah, And that's the thing too, because on the Jazz, I mean, Gobert was effectively like
The main
his
big.
player, and like when you're the main big, it's just too much scoring was required from the team that wasn't covered by other guys. Whereas you've got Edwards, just an absolute scoring machine. D'Lo, obviously, primarily a scorer. So yeah, I think it's a great fit. I agree with that.
Look, they gave up a lot, and I think that it was surprising how much Rudy went for. But but I'm also excited. I think it'd be nice to see a team where he doesn't have to do everything. Like here, he's primarily coming in to be defense.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of firepower around him, and I think that Russell, is Russell a good pick and roller? I don't know. I don't watch a lot of Timberwolves games.
I mean, looking back at some of his previous teams, even when he was on Brooklyn, for example, he had Jared Allen there, so I think he's got a bit of experience playing with like bigs that can't stretch the floor. So that probably be a decent matchup.
As long as the guards can get the ball to Rudy in the right position, which is what the guard's job. I think for the Timberwolves, this is a fantastic. Honestly, it's a fantastic move. It's definitely more of a win now move, but I think with this particular team, I think they overachieved this finals this year with what they had.
Yeah,
and I think that this will be I think this definitely puts them as a proper top 8 team now.
Yeah, I'd agree. And actually, I might just add as well that, obviously they gave up a lot of picks. That's obviously, like you said, win now kind of move, giving up a little bit in the future. But in terms of like even role players, they've kind of recovered. Like they gave up one guard who they used was Beverly and one forward in Vanderbilt. They've pretty much replaced that with Bryn Forbes and Kyle Anderson. So they haven't given up too much in their current roster to get Gobert. It's just given up the future picks, I suppose. So honestly, like you said, looking like a top 8 kind of contender.
Yeah. So then Jazz got a first round pick for Royce O'Neal from the Nets. That's I think Jazz are just trying to get some picks so that they've got a bit more flexibility with making moves, which makes sense. They're trying to make some improvements. I really want to crap on the Knicks, but let's talk about the Hawks first, because I feel like that is the next biggest trade, right?
Yep.
The Hawks and the Spurs. The Hawks get DeJounte Murray and Jock Landale. Who's Jock Landale?
Oh, come on. He's an Aussie. We should know him. He's a center. He wasn't on the Spurs, obviously, in the trade. You may have seen him playing at the Olympics for Australia, but
I didn't really watch the Olympics. Okay. Sorry, Australia. I've let you down.
But probably won't be getting a ton of minutes on the Hawks behind like Capella and Okongwu, but decent bench player. Can stretch the floor a little bit.
Sorry, Australia. I also didn't watch a lot of Spurs, so that's my excuse. The Spurs got Gallinari. And this is where it gets interesting, which they've waived Gallinari, and I believe Gallinari went to Boston.
I think they,
he went to Boston, which is great for Boston. Then they have, and I need to query something with you, but I'll quickly read out. The Spurs got a 2023 first round pick, 2025, 2026. 2025, 2026 is a pick swap, and then 2027. Were those unrestricted or restricted? I think they were unrestricted. That's right. I think everyone was losing their mind because the Hawks gave unprotected first round picks, which is wild.
I mean, they went all in on the trade, really.
But DeJounte Murray's great. He brings
good trade.
defense and more playmaking. It means that everything doesn't have to go through Trae Young, and obviously DeJounte will give a little bit more defense, which will help protect Trae Young because he can't defend. But it also takes the offensive pressure off because now there's like sort of two options for the guy. Like Trae Young doesn't have to do everything, which I think the best players like Michael Jordan was still amazing, but it was only once it really clicked that he knew that he could, he didn't have to do everything. That's when that Chicago team became unstoppable.
So I guess he's kind of got a very, very solid backcourt partner. It almost reminds me a little bit of the Timberwolves in that they've got a really, really solid offensive threat in, I guess, Cat, and they want to bring in a bit of defensive presence. That's kind of what the Hawks have done here with the backcourt. And Yeah, honestly, I think it was a nice move by the Spurs too. DeJounte even said he's like, they don't want to have me sit around here on the Spurs while they rebuild. They want to let me kind of have an opportunity. So
Yeah.
I think it was a
So
very good move.
huge trade. I think it makes the Hawks better. The Spurs get all those picks, which is they're definitely in the rebuild stage. So that those picks give them a lot of potential future assets, which is what they need. So I think overall this is a fantastic, and the Hawks get a spare center. Win, 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 which is what the Hawks are trying to do. So I wanna move that into talking about picks. The Knicks and the Thunder trade, and I saw a photo. I think I mentioned this to you. I saw a photo of Stephen A. Smith with his head in his hands, and all I read at the time was that the Knicks traded their 11th pick.
I think it was
their 11th pick to the Thunder for a bunch of picks. Yeah. And at the time I was like, oh yeah, that sounds stupid, but okay. But it's actually a bit, I Googled it quickly today. It's actually a bit worse than just that. And I don't understand how the whole picks stuff works. I did a quick Google. So apparently if the first round pick is protected, it's either a top 3, it's either a lottery pick, it's usually a top 10 or a top 3, I believe. And then if the pick that year is in the top 10, then the team that protected it gets their pick. But then the following year, in most cases, then no matter what, their first round pick goes to that team. Yep. Is that basically how it works?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Right. So the New York Knicks gave up their 11th pick, which was a New Zealander. It was
he technically played in the Australian League for the New Zealand team.
Yes.
Over the Breakers, but he's a French player.
Yeah. But from all accounts, a decent prospect with some good potential.
Yeah,
and the Knicks traded him to the Thunder for a 2023 protected first rounder via Detroit, a 2023 protected first rounder via Washington, and a 2023 protected first rounder via Denver. All of these teams are not going to be bad next year.
Yeah. That's true. I guess Detroit, Washington, Denver. Yeah.
So you guys gave up that. So the way I see this is that the Knicks gave up a number 11 pick with great potential, great upside. Overall, a pretty good rookie to have in your organization for 3 picks next year that will definitely be out of the top 10. Am I missing something here?
Okay, this is crazy. The only way I can see this somehow working, right? So it's just really confusing because they traded for 3 picks in the same year. So next year, Victor Wembanyama, who is pretty much like we've been waiting many drafts for like a LeBron caliber, Michael Jordan caliber player, right?
Supposedly, yes.
Supposedly, yep. I mean, he's insane. He's like if Chet was better, kind of like very lucky, but he's a generational talent. But like you said, they're protected picks. So if any of these were to be in the top 10, it has to be pretty much number 1 to get it. Like it would be protected. So the only thing I can see them doing is somehow turning those picks into another pick, but it just seems like a really backwards move, and my head is in my hands.
It's just like they got a pretty good pick at number 11, and then they just traded away, unless they think that they're going to find a diamond in the rough next year with having 3 picks in the I just don't get it. I don't understand. I think it was a bad move, and just typical New York rubbish.
I don't understand that organization. The only it's not. I don't even know if it's a positive, but the only other move they did was, I guess, getting Brunson.
What?
But I mean, even
forgot about that. Look, mad respect to Brunson. When someone gives you the bag, take it, right?
Oh yeah.
But what? And look, and I like Brunson. I think he played well, but that contract he got was ridiculously stupid.
Yeah, I mean, look, he played great in the playoffs, I guess. Probably persuaded them to pay him more, I guess, because he had a good playoff performance. But I want to point out one thing as well is that, like, yes, the Knicks are trying to rebuild, I suppose, to some extent. But it's just an interesting position because they've got a lot of guards now, especially like younger guys like Quickly, who you thought they'd be giving more minutes to. So I don't know if then they put him at shooting guard, or I don't know how they organize that.
What do you do with Derrick Rose?
I mean, yeah, Derrick Rose is getting a bit older, I suppose. So it's not like he's the future exactly, but that's the thing. They've got so much depth now at the point guard, and yeah, I just feel like the money could have gone elsewhere. Admittedly, it wasn't a huge free agency this year, so there weren't like a ton of crazy people they could have picked up. But yeah, it just continually confuses me, that team, really.
I think Jalen Brunson's a good player. I just think for how much they paid him versus what you're probably going to get from him, I think you're going to be left disappointed. And look, I'd love for Jalen Brunson to have continue having a career year. I just don't think what they paid him was more than what he was worth, in my opinion.
Correct. The only funny thing is that most contracts each year gain more money each year. His actually goes backwards, which is the first time I've seen that happen. So he actually gets paid less the further into his 4-year deal. I guess the only thing is maybe that's like an insurance policy, or kind of like that gives him more wiggle room contract-wise later down the track, or if he doesn't play as well as they think, it's not too expensive. But it's just such a weird situation. Like, you can't make this stuff up. They also picked up Hartenstein, which, again, is a position they've already got depth in. They've got Robinson, they've got Gibson. I don't know. Confuses me. Yeah,
look, I like Hartenstein. It's just, look, on paper, this team isn't terrible. Like, they've got Brunson, they've got Quickly, Rose. They've got RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish. You've still got Julius Randle and Obi Toppin, and then you've got a bunch of centers. So, like, it's not a terrible team, but it's not. But
it hasn't really improved, and it hasn't really gone backwards. Really, it's kind of
still like an 8th seed.
Yeah, fighting for that. So.
And then it's like, and even if they make the 8th seed or 7th seed, like, they're not going to make it out of the first round.
Yeah. It's a lateral move at best, and that's not what they really need at this point.
I just don't know why they decided that Jalen Brunson was their guy. I don't get it.
I think they're just pretty much taking a gamble and hope that this is kind of a year where Brunson got some good playoff experience. He's kind of improving, and they're expecting him to be they're probably expecting him to be all-star caliber next year, which we'll have to see if that happens or not.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the mysterious, curious case of the New York Knicks, as per usual. Philly have made some great moves. As we mentioned, they got Daniel House. Big pickup. They've picked up PJ Tucker as well. Fantastic. And they also got DeAnthony Melton.
Yeah, which I'm sad Memphis lost him, to be honest, because he's a great off the bench second point guard. But yeah, all solid moves by the Sixers, really. Adding more shooters around Embiid, adding a playoff caliber with Tucker.
And they gave Danny Green and the number 23 pick, the 23rd overall pick for DeAnthony Melton, which is honestly, I feel like, just a solid win now move. They're in their window. James Harden has apparently declined his player option so that he can sign a lower contract once the Philadelphia Sixers have handled all their moves, which Harden taking less money to get more depth is awesome.
I mean, it would be hilarious if he ran, but that's not going to happen.
I don't think so. But honestly, I really, really like this Philadelphia. What Philadelphia have got? They've got Tyrese, they've got Melton, they've got Shake, they've got Korkmaz. Is Korkmaz? Wait, no. Is Korkmaz good?
Oh yeah.
No, it's Kork. Yeah, it's Korkmaz. Yeah, sorry, he just doesn't play a lot of D, but that's okay. But then you've got Thibault, which apparently he's getting shopped around a lot, so I don't know if he'll make it. I think the front office lost confidence in him when he was struggling to score. But Daniel House, fantastic. Then you've got Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker, Niang. Within B, like, this is looking to be the only thing, touch wood, that would really mess this up is if Embiid gets injured or Harden gets injured. But this is a really solid team.
Yeah, definitely. And I think last season, obviously, they lost Curry, but they've honestly picked up so many shooters again now. So I think they've really retooled the team.
This is
so big step up.
Top 3.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
Top 3 conference final, at least.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Looking solid. So, no, good off-season for them.
So, I think... Okay, so we've got a hot sauce. How are we doing for time? There's so much to run through. Okay, we're doing okay for time. I would like to propose that we briefly talk about Golden State Warriors. Briefly go through any big free agent signings or re-signings that we think are great. And then I have to finish off a hot sauce about KD and Kyrie.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so Golden State obviously have just won a championship and looking to run it back. However, they're running out of luxury tax room. People are very expensive when you're re-signing them. And when you win a championship, your bench, your depth become more valuable. Much more valuable. So the team that Golden State Warriors have won with is not going to be coming back next year. Bangelica has already gone. I think he went international. He signed somewhere at home.
Yeah,
so
Bjelica went to Europe, I think. And then, honestly, like most of their bench is gone.
Yeah, Damian Lee went to Phoenix. Gary Payton II went to Portland. Otto Porter went to Toronto, and then Juan Toscano Anderson went to Lakers.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, like I am happy for these guys. I feel like I think even some of the previous Championship Warrior teams, like the bench guys, have been obviously put in the spotlight, and then they find their way onto a new team, and they get a chance there. It's just a shame when the whole bench does it almost.
Look, but unfortunately, Golden State Warriors have run out of money and cap space. They pretty much had to re-sign Kevon Looney. That was the main thing, and I think they gave, was it Andrew Wiggins an extension or?
I'm trying to remember. I think so.
But yeah, look, the short version is that they have no cap room, and all the people that left got more money than what Golden State could have given them, and it was getting to the point where, like, no matter, even if Golden State gave them a contract, it was like an $8 million a year contract would have equaled like $40 million in luxury tax. It was just, unfortunately, they had to let them walk. They've still got the core, but they haven't got the depth that they had.
Yeah, true. They've still got pretty much all their starters. They've still got Poole, Kuminga, the young guys, and they also picked up DiVincenzo.
Cool.
Who was, I think, on Sacramento at this point. He wasn't in the Bucks anymore. So, I mean, yeah, they've picked up one bench player, but yeah, they certainly are lacking the depth they had to get that ring. But yeah.
So, and now I've forgotten, who are we going to talk about after Golden State?
We were going to talk about.
What was my list?
We were going to do the hot sauce.
Oh yeah, no, and we're going to do free agency. Sorry, how are we doing for? Well, we might have to do free agency next episode.
It's ongoing. So
we can do a full breakdown of the free agency signings. So that's extensions, re-signs, and new signings. So we'll break that all down next week. But for now, I'm gonna give you a hot sauce, which in post. So now, boop, I'm gonna put all the sound effects in post. So do the dance.
So hot. Alucinante, como el picante. It's Harry's hot sauce.
Harry's hot sauce. So the elephant in the room, or what's like the giraffe in the room, because KD is really tall. So KD has apparently requested a trade. Wowzers. Has the world exploded.
Big problems with the Nets.
And I think, so here's my hot sauce. So here's the problem I have. KD signed a 4-year max contract. And it hasn't even been a year, I don't think. He played half the games of he played half of his games for the Nets last year, and now he's demanding a trade to the Miami Heat or the Phoenix Suns.
Yep.
And the Nets, apparently, I've read, sort of have to try to be... Here's my problem, right? What's the point of signing a contract if you're just going to force the organization to do what you want anyway? I think this is a horrible, horrible look for KD. I'm really disappointed that they're not giving KD, Kyrie, and Simmons a go, because I think on paper that could be a really good... a good pairing. But I think my hot sauce is like the next time that the Players Association negotiate with the teams, they're going to get absolutely slaughtered. The whole point of the max contract, right, is so that you can lock in talent.
Exactly,
They have to play for you. And we've just had over and over that talent just don't give a crap about the contract they've signed. Look at Ben Simmons refusing to play. Give or take. At points he had a doctor's note, and at points he didn't. But what is protecting the organization from you going AWOL?
I mean, yeah, not much. I guess when you're like a star level player, not much they can do. I mean, look, players having more freedom and more choice themselves is a good thing in general, but when it gets to this point, it's just too far. I think, especially like the Nets, who, as a franchise, gave up so many picks, so much of their future to try when they did that lineup with like KG and Paul Pierce and stuff. Didn't work, and that cost them years and years and years. It's pretty much almost a broken record. The same thing's happening again, where they've given up so much to get Kyrie and KD in. They lose.
And Harden. They did everything they wanted.
They got Harden as well, so they went in on this big three. They've already lost Harden. There was a lot of time where Kyrie couldn't play for reasons. There was a while where KD was injured. I think the first year they signed him, he didn't play the whole first year with injury because they were just like, you know what, we'll take the loss, we'll take the L, we'll wait.
Yeah.
And it's just pretty much being just thrown back in their face by KD and Kyrie as well. So it's just I feel really bad for the Nets. It's kind of fun bagging them out last season. It's always fun to bag out the top dogs, but I feel horrible for the Nets because as a franchise they haven't won. They haven't been to the playoffs at least since the 2004 in terms of finals. But yeah, I feel horrible for them as a franchise.
They've had this whole thing of Kyrie asking to go to the Lakers and KD's only here's the thing, right? So I was reading an article that said there's no protections in KD's contract. The Nets can trade KD wherever they want. There's nothing in the contract that protects KD at all. He can go wherever they want. But apparently, the process is that if they don't try and put him somewhere where he's happy, other free agent, if they do him a dirty, right, and trade him to OKC, then other free agents won't want to go to the Nets because they'll be like, oh yeah, you did KD dirty, so how do you know you're not going to do me a dirty?
Yeah, so it's a bad look for them now, and other talent won't want to go
there. But they've got every right to trade him to OKC if they want to.
Yeah.
So
it's a tough situation for them.
I don't think KD deserves to go to Miami but then KD wants to go to Miami, but if Jimmy Butler's part of the trade for him to go to Miami, then he doesn't want to go to Miami because he wants to play with Jimmy Butler.
I mean, that's just that's like the extreme of players kind of taking their demands into their own hands. I will pose you a little funny question. What do you think's the worst look? KD being up against the Warriors when he was on OKC, losing to them, and then joining them the next year? Or do you think this is a worse look now, where he's destroyed the whole Nets organization and wants to leave?
This is worse by far.
Which is crazy because that was the biggest backlash we've seen in recent history in basketball when he went to the Warriors.
I understand why people did not enjoy him leaving OKC to go to the Warriors. I understand why people don't like it. Me personally, I have zero issues with it. KD knew that he wasn't going to win a ring with OKC. Russ and that, that was a good team, and maybe if they ran it back, things might have been different, but Russ was a problem. Russ has always been a problem, and I don't think you're ever going to win a ring with Russ. And I think Kevin, at that point, Kevin wanted a ring. So I don't blame him for going to the best team and making them even more unstoppable. But this whole Nets thing was supposed to be Kevin Durant showing that he can be a leader, that he can lead a team, and that he can be the number one guy and sort of be on the same level as LeBron, and him not achieving it last year and pretty much running with his tail between his legs to he's only asking to go to trade, like he's only wants to go to teams that were in the top 2 last year.
He's doing the ultimate ring hunting, really, and it's just I don't think it's like the crazy bit isn't them not performing as well as we expected, because there were such high hopes. To be fair, there was a lot of pressure with that big 3 when they had Harden on the team, and I guess the bigger disappointment isn't them not performing well. It's just that they didn't perform well, and now they're just running. They're just leaving. I guess KD and Kyrie to some extent too. So it's just
they sound like such a pain to deal with, the both of them.
I mean, can you imagine if like LeBron, for example, like went back to Cleveland on a pretty subpar team when he had Kyrie and Love or whatever, but that's so many years they got, well, not so many, but multiple years they got beaten by the Warriors. Imagine if he just legged it off to another team. He stuck it out, ended up winning with the Cavs of all teams. I mean, I'm not trying to get to a KD LeBron debate, but just the difference in attitude combined with the talent is
the whole point was that KD wanted to lead this team and this organization, and he lost, and now he just is running to the next best team that will take him.
Yeah.
It sounds like things have...
top dog, but won't take any of the responsibility of the top dog. Really.
Which, if I was Kevin Durant, I don't know how you don't tell Kyrie to pull a finger out of his butt and get that vaccination. Honestly.
But I mean, that's the other thing. Kyrie, I mean, he's... the rumors are him getting in a trade perhaps with Westbrook to the Lakers.
God.
Which, I mean, that would just be poetic justice, wouldn't it? If
no,
he went
the Lakers don't deserve to get bailed out like that. No.
I don't know, but the other side of it, Westbrook back with KD on the Nets would be hilarious.
It would be funny. But no, that can't happen. I refuse. The amount of trades suggestions that have come up for Kyrie and for KD that the Lakers are like, oh yeah, they'll take Russ and our only first round pick, and it's like, no. I'm sorry, the Lakers do not deserve to get bailed out for their bad team building.
Yeah.
Because they're the Lakers. Absolutely not.
Oh, man.
I refuse.
I mean, I think they've made a couple of less stupid moves this offseason at least than last offseason. But
if the Nets end up with Russell Westbrook, I will be so upset.
I'll be upset for the Nets, yeah.
I'll be so upset. The Lakers do not deserve to get bailed out. They don't.
Man.
But I think this is a really... But going back to things, so Kyrie, I believe he has signed his extension now. He messed around for a lot, but they've got it done now, so he's locked in for this year, I believe. I think. Possibly.
Actually, not confirm or deny that, but...
I think it's been signed, but I think Kyrie was trying to get a 4-year extension, and the Nets are like, you've got to be joking. No way. And then Kyrie was like, oh, well, then I'll get traded to the Lakers. But then I don't think anyone wanted him, which is why he had to take the player option.
Right.
That's my thing. But regardless, yes, the whole KD to Phoenix is the big rumor at the moment, which maybe that fixes Phoenix's problem with DeAndre Ayton, a sign and trade, plus some other assets. But I don't know. I feel like if you're Phoenix, you just run it back and try again. But if you could get rid of DeAndre Ayton for Kevin Durant, that's not a bad way to make sure that you probably win, right?
That's true.
I've also seen 3-ways where the Utah Jazz get DeAndre Ayton, the Nets get Mitchell, and then Phoenix get Kevin Durant, which is great for everyone, I feel like, except for Phoenix. For Jazz. Why the hell would Jazz want DeAndre Ayton?
I mean, if they're going tank commander mode, then perhaps. But...
yeah, I just don't think they want to admit that they need to redo. I just feel like that this is going to come up. I think that the Players Association and the NBA, and the organizations in the next year or two are having a renegotiation of their terms and stuff. And I just feel like that a lot of this is going to come up, and this is going to impact all of the players negatively, because the NBA has is one of the better leagues when it comes to like guaranteeing money for players, and it's very a lot of the stuff is here is for the players, but I feel like the players have abused their power and the guaranteed money and stuff, and I feel like the organizations are going to get a bit back next time, and it's because of people like Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons, and just and if KD really wants to force this through, I think he should get traded to the Kings. Kings
basketball purgatory.
I feel like he shouldn't get traded to a top 2 team. I would not blame the Nets if they dumped him off somewhere else that gave him a better return. And I kind of want that to happen. I just don't think KD deserves to go to another top 2 team.
And it would be interesting because then he would finally be the top dog and have to carry. But yeah,
Boston played pretty good defense on him, and he looked pretty bad. So I don't know. It's still KD. He's still an amazing player. He's still like probably top 3 right now. Like it almost would be worth for most teams to give as much as they could for KD. He's worth having. I just don't know if Phoenix want to gut their depth to get Kevin Durant. Though maybe, I don't know. I'm not happy. Basically, Harry's hot sauce. KD and Kyrie suck, and they're crazy. And they're really good basketball players, but they're really trash human beings.
But yeah, I guess we'll see what unfolds. We'll see what happens with KD and the rest of free agency as it continues to go along.
So tune in next week where we're going to break down all of free agency. We're going to go through each team and see who's re-signed what or who's signed who, and we're going to break it down for you. So that's going to be a real banger of an episode. So like and subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Thanks to my girlfriend for being like the most consistent listener to this podcast. You're number 1.
But yeah, stay tuned and we'll see you next episode.
Peace out.